So, let me introduce to you guys today Mr. Willie Ade. He's a business broker and a business consultant, and he basically focuses on helping a lot of small businesses when it comes to tax plan. Okay, hold on. I'm echoing. When it comes to tax planning, estate planning, and much more. He's here today, Mr. Willie Ade is going to go through the ERC, the process, how you can get qualified, and what are the rules and regulations with it. And also is going to talk to us about estate planning. So welcome, the floor is yours. You are welcome to our group. And it's just a small group. What we do is we meet twice a month and we just help each other to grow financially, educate each other, and encourage one another. That's all we do. So you're welcome to our group, sir. You can take it from there.
Thank you very much, Basirat. It's my pleasure to be here with you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to talk to you about, this tax credit that a whole lot of business owners, small business owners, I should emphasize, are not aware of. And when Basirat called me to talk about this, I felt, I was coming back from church this afternoon, and I said, you know what, I absolutely have to make it so that we can spread the word, because there is so much that a lot of business or small business owners don't know about it, and I'm emphasizing small business owners. If you remember, in 2008, when we had the financial meltdown, government came in with a rescue plan, or the bailouts as they call them. But the bailouts were for the big boys. If you remember, they bailed out the auto industry, to the tune of billions of dollars. They bail out banks and so on. And in all of that, the small business owner or the small business person was ignored. Whereas the economy of this country is driven to a large extent by small business owners. So when COVID hit in 2020, late 2019 and early 2020, and then we, if you remember, it's hard to believe it's already 3 years that businesses were shutting down left and right. Businesses were laying off workers and so on. And so Congress decided to step in with what they called at the time the CARES Act. If you all remember, Congress passed the CARES Act, was voted into law in March of 2020, and President Trump signed it. And the CARES Act is what gave rise to the PPP loans, the UIDLs. If you remember, they gave checks to families and things like that. In that CARES Act, there was also something that most people were not aware of, and up till now many people are still not aware of, and it is called Employee Retention Tax Credit. So whereas the PPP was a loan which was supposed to be paid back, but if you use the money for the right purposes, that is to pay your workers and run your business, then it would be forgiven. But if you used it for something else, then it wouldn't be forgiven. So you have to pay it back.
Willie, I think Mr. John is raising his hand.
Okay. I don't know. Go ahead, and I don't know. I've been seeing hi. I thought maybe just put it by mistake or something.
Yeah. I was just saying hi. That's it.
Oh, okay. All right. Hi, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Okay. So as I was saying, whereas the PPP was a loan, the ERC is not a loan. It is a tax credit, so you don't have to pay it back. It is, and the best way I can describe it to people is like this, that the government basically was thankful that many businesses or small businesses stayed open and kept and maintained their workers, didn't fire workers or lay off workers, which contributed in keeping the economy afloat. So I mean that's a simplistic way of looking at it. But what it is a tax credit that will pay up to $26,000 per qualified employee. Qualified employee means a full-time employee doing at least 30 hours a week. So if you have a business or you had a business, because the time under review, already passed, but they are paying it out now. So it started from the second quarter of 2020 through the fourth quarter of 2020, and then the first quarter of 2021 through the third quarter. So in all, you have 6 quarters that a company or a business can qualify for. And so the total for all those 6 quarters that a company can get, the maximum they can get per employee is $26,000. Now you can do the math. If you have, so you have 10 employees and you claiming the maximum, that's about $260,000 that a company, a small business owner will stand to gain. So, but the problem, there was an issue. The law changed so many times over the course of the 2 years during which the pandemic was raging. So you had, the law was passed in March of 2020. And at the time they passed the law, it said if you took the PPP, you wouldn't qualify. And then you had to show a loss of or a drop in income of at least 50% from the prior year. But later on that year, it was changed. That 50% was reduced to 20%. And then the requirement for PPP was also lifted. And then in 2021, now when the new Congress came in, and then of course with the new president too, Joe Biden. So with the new Congress, they passed the American Rescue Plan Act. And that the American Rescue Plan Act now changed or modified some of the conditions. So they loosened all the restrictions that they had on regarding the ERTC, which is the Employee Retention Tax Credit. And so now all that a company needs to show is that their business was disrupted by COVID. So it's either or. So if you had a loss in income, a drop in your income from the 2019, that is a consideration that will qualify you to get this money. But if you did not have a loss, but your business was disrupted, so you could actually make a profit, you could actually grow, make more money, but because your business was disrupted, you still qualify because they are paying. They are working on how the ERTC impacted the economy at large, and so companies will qualify with either a drop in income or disruption in their activities. But because the law changed so many times, as a matter of fact, it changed 8 times. Between the CARES Act and the American Rescue Plan Act, so many CPAs don't even know how to approach it. So they don't even, generally they just tell their clients, you don't qualify, because that is for those who even know about it. They say, well, okay, you do not have a loss of income. So, which is unfortunate because that's wrong information they are giving their clients there. So, I work with a group of I work with a team of experts. I work with, I partnered with an accounting firm that does this, and they've helped companies get back billions of dollars. Personally, that's clients that I've helped personally with this. I'm running maybe close to $30 million in recoveries for my clients right now. So it is, and it's a very simple, to qualify for this money is straightforward. So if you had employees, W-2 employees, so not 1099s, would mean W-2 employees, so you are paying payroll taxes. So, we look at the 941s, which are the quarterly payroll taxes that, businesses file. We look at the payroll log, and then with some other documents. And then if you took the PPP, all they do is we'll look at, you provide the PPP documents, and they'll back out whatever amount, whatever money you got in the PPE from the final numbers. And so we're able to help small businesses get, much needed funds to help them in these hard times. And so we have the number of employees, the maximum number of employees that a company can have to qualify for this is 500. So 500 is the maximum. And then we have companies with 2-3 employees who get $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 and so on. So what we do is we get we do an estimate. We have a form, just a few questions that don't take up to 5 minutes for a business owner to fill out. How many employees did you have during that period? How much did you pay them in salaries? Did you take PPP? How much was it? And so on. And within a few minutes, we can give you an estimate of how much you can get back under this tax credit. And so it's I would say, if I don't know whether we have any business owners on the line, business owners with employees, that is, on the line. But even if you don't have employees, you can know somebody who has employees, because I believe this is also some kind of networking type situation that you have here. So even if you don't personally have employees, you may know people who have employees. I'd say get back to Basirat, and you can partner and work together, and in helping businesses claim this credit, and you'll get rewarded handsomely. So I will stop at this point with, to see if there's anybody with questions, but those are just the basics of the ERC. And oh, by the way, since it covers that 2-year period, from the second quarter of 2020 through the third quarter of 2021. So those are 6 quarters. Now businesses have 3 years to claim that credit. So right now we have approximately 2 years left for businesses to claim that credit. So, hey, there's a whole lot of business out there, a whole lot of business owners who have not heard about this. Just so you know, there are about 30 million small businesses who should qualify for this, but not up to 1 million of them have claimed the credit yet. And most of it, and this is due mostly to the fact that they don't know, or they've been misinformed by their own CPAs. Not out of bad faith, it's just that the law changed so much. And so, people couldn't keep keep abreast with the changing law. So they just, in some cases, you just tell them, well, all they remember is the first variation of the law, which said, if you had to have a drop or a loss in income, or a drop in income of 50%, that's what some people remember. So they look, oh, well, you didn't lose any money, so you don't qualify, which is completely false. So what we encourage people to do is check to try to get their estimates, and you can do that through Basirat. You can have this company that we work with, they'll have a small survey. It's a survey of about 6 questions or so. You provide some basic information, and within 5 minutes, you have a calculator that will tell us whether or not you qualify. And in case you don't personally have clients, employees, you can join, you can partner with Basirat, and together become an apostle, so to speak. Go out and reach out to business owners with businesses, and help them, take the word to them, and help them recover this money, and in the process, you'll get paid handsomely. I think I saw a question on the chat box. Somebody, let me just see. It says, does it matter if it is exempt or not, non-exempt per hour? All you have to have is salaried workers. And I'm glad you asked that question. You see, non-profit organizations are tax exempt. The organization is, but they do have employees, W-2 employees. They pay these people and they file quarterly the payroll taxes, the Form 941 and so on. So yes, non-profit organizations qualify. And yes, it has to be salaried workers, that's W-2, not 1099s.
So if you only have 2 employees, still fine, correct?
Yeah. I mean, the run is just that we have some other companies that we can use to work with companies that have few employees. I mean, such a small number of employees. It's just that it's a choice that some companies have made to cut off the minimum. Like, for instance, this company will work with, they will do the minimum, they will do 5. But we have another company that can do less than 5 employees.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of the misconceptions with this ERC is people thinking that you have to pay back.
No, there is no paying back. It is a tax credit. If you have, unfortunately, I don't have. I could, if I could pull up, if you could, share yours. Make me the host for a second. Let me share my screen and I'll show you a letter so that it will help people understand.
Share now. I made it multiple.
Let me see. Let me see. Let me see the premium. Okay, let's see.
So, I'm sorry, can I ask a question?
Sure, go ahead.
So, anybody with a small business, let's say I have a friend who they do parties. They do like small parties, right? They do birthday parties and stuff like that. They're the costume characters or something. And they have employees. They have like 2 or 3 people that they make do the costumes with them.
Yes.
Would they be able to get that too?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
What if they don't really know how to, or how would they go about it if they don't know how to, if they don't really put that in their taxes or anything like that?
No,
how would they go about that?
That is the problem. You see, and that's why I said they have to be employees and they pay the employees and they file the payroll taxes. So you have what they call the Form 941 that businesses have to file, businesses with employees. It's a payroll tax. So the Form 941 will show I have 3 employees, I have 4 employees, because that's where you collect the Social Security tax and all the other taxes and submit to Uncle Sam. So if you've been filing those things for those years, yep, all you do, I've even come across companies that were sold, so they are no longer in business, but then they sold it and then they realized there's this money they could get, so they contact the new owner and they say, okay, let's make a deal. That they claim it and collect the money and split it. That it has to be employees for whom we are paying taxes, because it's a payroll.
Okay, so
it's a tax refund, almost like the refund that you as an individual you get when you file your taxes. Then they say you have a tax refund, is an overpayment of taxes, and when the IRS calculates, they say, oh, okay, you overpaid us, so take some money back. So that's how they process it. In fact, I want to, if Basirat, if you make me the host for a minute, I'll share my screen so that you see one of those letters. It is called
Mr. William, because I made multiple participants can share.
Oh, you mean that I can share? Okay, hold on, let me see.
Please try.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. Okay. Okay, you see, can everybody see my screen?
Yes, I
Okay.
can. I don't know.
So you see, I just blotted out the name of the company and so on. Okay, so this is one of my clients who got their checks back. So by the way, you see here it says refund due. You see it says 0. Okay, because there are 6 quarters involved. So each quarter has its own check and its own refund letter. So in this case, this one quarter, they got 0. Okay. Actually, they got something. You see that it's called overpayment. You see on this line here where it says overpayment. This first line here, just below summary, you see where my cursor is. Overpayment. So that means they overpaid the government. And so the government was refunding them $948. But they were owing taxes. So the government just applied that to those taxes they were owing.
They take out their money.
But look at it now. Now look at where you have the real money. So the next quarter, look at how much they were getting back.
Wow.
Overpayment. So they're getting back 124,000.
Where is that coming from, though? Is that from the ERC?
That's why, yeah, this is the ERC. That's what I'm showing you. This is when you file, this is what you get. When they calculate it and you qualify. That's why I say we do the estimates first too. So before you start doing anything, we'll first run an estimate based on your numbers. And we'll give you an idea of how much you will be getting back from the government. So this is one quarter. Okay, see, this is one quarter. You see the next quarter, they had 111,000. You see the next quarter, 66,000. You see that? 177,000. And you see, so the government, so because the refund is, that's why I say we use the 941s. Those are the quarterly payroll taxes that they file, because it is on the basis of that. You see Form 941, you see that up here? Can everybody see? You see that where you say we applied your Form 941 overpayment? You see that to your tax. So this 941 is the quarterly payroll tax that the business owner files. Yes, and so when they calculate it, so I have this company got back almost 700,000. I have companies that have gotten 2 point something million. I have one that is currently being processed. They are getting back like 9 million.
Wow.
So in that case, you will see it will say something like 1 point something million or 2 million, or, and so on.
But most of those refunds are coming from looking at
no, this company has like 40 something employees. This is just a company. I think they have like 42 employees.
That's not small. 42.
No. Well, I'm saying, compared to the one that is getting back 9 million, they have like 500 employees.
I know.
So, and then I have companies that are, like companies with 10 employees getting, 100 something back, 200, that kind of stuff.
Okay, so basically you have to have a payroll tax. It's not.
Absolutely. It's a payroll tax refund.
1099.
It's not 1099. It's a payroll tax.
Yeah, if you have a small businesses, and even if you don't, at least you might know some people that have small businesses going on, and they are also paying taxes. So
yeah,
this is something that we can file for them. And
there you go.
Help them, and you also get a commission.
There you go. That's where I was talking about. If you remember, I was talking about partnering with you, so they can contact you, and so they can become, we create an army of people who are out there, small business. Somebody gave me a title the other day. Say we're small business advocates. That's what she said.
Good.
So that we're advocating for small businesses. So you can form an army of small business advocates going out there and looking for all these people, helping them, because they don't know any, you don't know what you don't know. In fact, this person, the overpayment forms I just showed you now, it was somebody, when I walked into their office and I talked to them about it, they couldn't believe me. But then when this thing came back, the man sent it to me. He said, it if this were not government checks, and I know what government checks, I wouldn't believe it because it's unbelievable. And, you know, to cut a long story short, he said this, I just rescued their business because they were thinking of how to just shut down because they were so stressed. They didn't have money to pay workers and things like that. And so there are lots of business.
Daycare.
Huh?
I say even people who have like small businesses like daycare.
Any business, daycare, mom and pop business, a small grocery store, a gas station, whether doctor's office, you know, lawyer's office, it does a mechanic shop, it doesn't matter as long as they have W-2 employees.
Good.
Just have them fill out the survey. That's all. Because our goal is to fill out the survey and show them, you know, because you go to some people, oh, my accountant says I don't qualify. And that is based on the false information let me not call it false information. Let me say the accountant is not up to date. At one point in time, that information was correct. But since the law has changed so many times, the only way you can be sure that you don't qualify is to fill out the survey. And then we'll do the estimate. And then, hey, if it comes and say, oh, sorry, you don't qualify, the most it took out of you was 10 minutes of your time. But what if it turned out, check this out. This is a story one of my team members just told me last week. Okay, she went to this business owner and asked her to fill out the form. Said, well, we don't qualify. We just have part-timers, blah, blah, blah. She said, you know what? Just fill it out. So I don't know whether the person filled out. I think that's what actually happened. I think they filled it out with their current information. Remember, we are in 2023 now. But this thing covers 2020 and 2021.
Wow.
So if I'm asking you, how many employees did you have? I'm asking you the number of employees you had in 2020 when COVID was around and 2021. I'm not asking you for your employees now. So maybe you had 100 back then and they've reduced now to 10. So don't put 10, put the 100. So, but anyway, this person, when they did the estimate, he said they will get I think like 39,000. They were pretty happy with that because they said they just have only part-timers. But now when they started processing their paperwork, because after you get the estimate, then at that point we say, okay, present the documents, upload your 941s, your payroll logs, you know, PPP documents if you took PPP and so on and so forth. So they uploaded all these documents, and lo and behold, can you guess how much this company got? Can you just, Basira, just try to guess?
I don't know if I can guess.
Yeah, you will never be able to guess. 1.5 million.
Wow.
That is how off they were in there, because they thought, oh, it turns out they had a bunch of part-timers who were working part-time, but the hours added up to 30 hours.
Wow.
Over 100 something employees.
Exactly.
So now they ended up getting, I mean, the agent himself, when she got they said, okay, this is the final everything, because when they do it, they prepare the amended 941s that the...
It's watching ready.
Okay. They send the amended 941s for the client to sign and then submit to the IRS and just start waiting for their payment, because the process is after we do the estimate, you know, you accept to move forward, they send you the documents, you sign the letter of engagement and so on. They process it. When everything is done, they will send the amended documents for you to sign and mail to the IRS, and then you wait for your checks.
Wow.
So when they call this, when the client received, I mean, the agent received the message that your client's documents are ready, and she opened the email, the attachment, she saw that they were getting 1.5 million. She said, no way, there's a mistake here. She started calling all over. She called me, she called the company, she called and sent emails. Are you sure there's no mistake somewhere? Because this is so unreal. And and they confirmed, the lead CPA sent her an email and said, yes, that is the correct number.
Wow.
The client underestimated, put wrong numbers, and so on and so forth. So we did all the calculations, and this is what they are going to get. And I've been working with this company for close to 2 years now.
Wow.
They've not been wrong. In fact, their estimates are conservative because the IRS is going to pay you interest on that money. So if it takes, so you submit your files now, for instance, we're in March, and let's say you finally get your checks in July, they will pay you interest from March to July.
Wow.
Yes, just the same way, like if you were owing taxes, the IRS charges interest. That's what they do. So in every single case I've had, the client has gotten more money than we estimated they were going to get in the beginning.
That is, I mean, that is one of the best thing about this program, and I wish I know more, but I'm learning as we're going. And if you don't qualify, that's fine, but you might know other people that qualify as long as they have employee.
That is the point.
Part-time or full-time, as long as they're paying their payroll taxes, which is 41. If they're paying it, they qualify for this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't have to. Hey, if you don't have employees, you are still a business owner. So what I want everybody on this line to bear in mind is that, hey, I'm a business owner. I imagine, am I right, Basirat? All of you here, you have your businesses. It could be a one-man shop. It could be. It doesn't matter, but you have a business mind. So think outside the box, and now you can start. I can say start writing down the names of all the business owners you know, people who have employees.
Even your doctors.
Yeah, doctors, your mechanics. The other day I went to get my brakes changed. I think on Thursday, and so I asked the mechanic, and he said, oh, unfortunately he only has 1099. So I said, but how about this, your neighbors around here? Can you do me a favor? I had some flyers. I gave them to him. He said, I'm going to pass them out and I'm going to do more. So, hey, dry cleaners.
So, good afternoon, sir.
Yes.
Thank you so much for all the information.
You're welcome.
We appreciate you coming and giving us this. So what you're saying now is that it's only the people that has employees
yes,
that can borrow for now. So if you just even have 1099 from maybe insurance,
no, 1099s don't qualify. So if I take it you have 1099, for instance, I'll say, hey, well, sorry, you don't meet this, but you can help other people that you know, and you'll make money. You see, that's why I said you partner with Basirat, and you will, hey, we run that thing, and I'm available to help. You could have, there are people who have, they belong to associations, to organizations, to different things, I'm ready to talk and explain and educate. And just to let you, talking about educating and to tell you how important it is for us to reach out to as many people as possible. I had this friend of mine, we did his estimate, and he qualified for like 1.1 million. But he said, no, there's no free money in America. I can't believe this. This is not true. So I told him, I said, man, look, this is something that was passed by 2 different Congresses and signed by 2 different presidents. And you say so you think there's some kind of scam in this? Go to the IRS website and enter employee retention tax credit, and you see it there. Google it, whatever, you see it. But so I was sitting in his office, and then I said, okay, after I brought his estimate, so he said, I think his accountant happened to call him. So he just sent it. He said, oh, okay, yeah, just hold on. And he talked to the guy and said, hey, I have this friend of mine is telling me a story I don't believe. He says I qualify for some money here, which, and he says, so talk to him and let's see what he's talking about. And the first question I asked, and that's the same question I asked everybody, are you familiar with the employee retention tax credit? That's it. And the guy, there's a certain hesitation when somebody doesn't know something. There's like a 5 to 10 second silence or whatever, that's when they don't know. Then they go, is it or is that? So there was that hesitation. And then he said, is it a PPP? I said, no, it is not a PPP, but it is in that same law that created the PPP. And I went on to educate. I am not a CPA. This is a CPA who had not heard about it, had no idea. I was the one who educated him. And at the end, when I realized that, I could cost this guy his relationship with the CPA, with the client, I said, okay, tell you what, I'm going to send you a copy of the law so that you can read it for yourself and you can maybe now help your other clients. And I emailed it to my friend. I said, forward it to him. And 3 days later, my friend calls me back and said, man, yes, my man confirms that this is for real and so on and so forth. So you will run into a whole lot of people who will tell you, my CPA says I don't qualify, just tell them, hey, because, people have this strange kind of relationship that many people have with their CPAs. And you don't want to get in. It's like people having their doctor. They have that special relationship. So you're not trying to ruin that relationship, but you're trying to figure out a way to help them without antagonizing them to the point where, then they don't want to talk to you anymore. So you just like, yeah, your CPA, your CPA likes what your CPA is doing a good job. It's just that the law has changed so many times and they don't have anything, so that's why they are not familiar with that. So, but I would say contact Basirat for, if you have clients or you think that you can, businesses that you can help with this and you want to make some money with it, talk to her. I promise you wouldn't regret it. And then later on, we can have other meetings or we can schedule. I'm ready to do a Zoom calls. If you need me to talk to one of your prospects and that kind of stuff to explain it, I can do that for you too. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Yes, you are.
God bless.
Yeah. So, if there are no more, and if there are any more questions, I'll say forward these questions to Basirat, and I'm available. She can reach me, and we can always talk and help you. But now, there's something else that I wanted to just touch on, and we can maybe on another call I can talk a little more about it. But I'll just introduce it. Yes, it is called estate planning. You see, a lot of us maybe who hear estate planning would think it's just something for some
the rich people,
kind of rich, but no, it applies to each and every one of us, because and for a simple reason that if you don't have an estate, the government an estate plan, sorry. The government has one for you, which you will not like. Meaning that if you don't do your estate planning, and when you're not around, the government will have to make that decision because your estate will go into probate. What is probate? Probate is a process where they verify that this thing that you said, okay, I said this house, I'm giving it to my, my child, this bank account or this. Well, the court will have to verify it through the probate process. But if you have an estate plan, your wishes will be executed immediately without any dispute. So if you want your wishes to be executed without going through the courts, you need to have an estate plan. And by estate plan, what we are talking about is a comprehensive estate plan. I know some people say, oh, I have a will. A will is just a wish. It's a wish document. You write a will, and if that will is not in, if you don't set up a trust, that will will still go through probate. I'll give you an example. My dad passed away in January of 2021 during COVID, right here in Washington, D.C. He had a house. We are in 2023. That house is still in probate. My sister lives there, but the house, it's just yesterday that this week actually that we started getting letters to show up in probate court. So it took 2 years. And nobody's disputing anything. We all own our own properties, my siblings, and everybody has their own stuff. Nobody is disputing our house. But because my dad didn't have an estate plan, this thing was not in a trust. So, yeah, he had already told us, okay, give your sisters will take this house, you have this and that. None of that. Even the bank account, you cannot access it. It has to go through probate unless you put it in a trust through estate planning. So we do a comprehensive, again, I partner with this company that does comprehensive estate planning that will, get you, a living will, advance directives, trusts, special needs trust. And let me just pause for 1 second and talk about this because people don't realize these things. What are special needs trusts? These are trusts that take care of special needs individuals. Who are special needs individuals? I'm sure each of us on this line here, and some of us may actually have special needs family members. Children with HDD, what do you call it? Hyper. The term slips my mind.
Attention deficit disorder.
Yeah, attention deficit. Thank you. You have, autism. You have those things, and then those with other serious, other different complications, which require that they get special care. Most of those people are cared for by the state through Medicaid. But if you go and make the mistake, and this mistake is born of ignorance, it's not like something people do intentionally. You love your child or you love your love. You're doing, you say, okay, I'm putting my will, okay, I'm going to give them X number or my life insurance policy. They are going to get this or that. Well, that special needs person doesn't have the capacity to manage those things. So the moment that thing is in their name, the state support that they get stops. So you are no longer around, your special needs kid or adult now inherits something. The moment the government say, oh, they got money, guess what? All that support that they used to get
on the state,
stops. And this is when they are most vulnerable. There's nobody, you were their champion, fighting for them, doing all this so that they could get these benefits. But you inadvertently created a situation that caused them to lose all that support because you didn't know. But if you set up a special needs plan, a special needs trust, okay, put those things in there, the trust controls it and then releases whatever you want them to have on a timely basis at different times and so on, and they continue to get their benefits from the state.
Got you.
Yes.
So in that kind of situation, then what you will to them as a parent goes that you put it
into the trust.
So the trust,
and the special needs trust manages it and then takes care of them. Then if you don't do that, you just leave it there. You've just messed their lives up without knowing it. So and there are so many situations. Look, for instance, okay, you see medical power of attorney. Most people don't realize that when you are in that situation, I'm sure we've all at one time or the other experienced where you're in the hospital, maybe your spouse or something, then before they carry out the procedure, they say, you sign here or who needs to sign. Well, a medical power of attorney would determine whether, let's say, you need to be maintained on life support or not. For instance, if you are in a critical place, if the people around you, want, if I remember, there was a case a few years ago, I think it was called Skive or Terry Skive or something like that in Florida, where she was on life support for like 13, 14 years, whatever, however long that was. She was a vegetable. And the husband wanted her to stay on it in court, back and forth, and so on. So, but if with a simple medical power of attorney, that problem would have been resolved if she had done that, before she got sick. So you have that, and then simple bank accounts. You have money in your account there. You die today, and nobody can access it without. So there are so many little things that people don't even realize.
Wow.
Will mess up the lives of their loved ones. They're not doing it out of malice. It's just ignorance. Yes. So we help with that. I can talk some more about this some other time, and then we have the experts who can help with this.
So I'm sorry. Go ahead. Can you repeat that again? So if they do that, what should they do instead?
I'm sorry, say that. What
instead of giving it to the person with the disability, what should they do?
They put it in they call it a special needs trust.
Special needs trust.
Yes. So basically, all these things what the estate planning, the long and the short of estate planning is that we should put most of our estate, everything into the trust. So that way, because a trust is a contract that is executed immediately. So you pass away right now, they just pull up the trust and they say, okay, well, yes, this is what Mr. Ade said should be done, and the court will respect that, no problem, no dispute. But if they will not, that's why I said a will is a will is just a wish, you put in your will. If you don't, you do that will and you don't put it in a trust, then the whole thing was for naught, because it will still end up in probate. Like I said, I just gave you the example of my late dad's house. 2 years later, nobody is disputing, they will not be able to do anything with it.
But why does it take that long, though? Was it because
it's a process? It takes the courts apart with all these things they have. It takes time. The court's calendar. Especially if you want to avoid that kind of situation, you just have to
do the right
do an estate plan, and all these things are put in trust, and it will save you a whole lot of headache. And so we offer 30-minute discovery calls, so that way you talk with an expert, just to so they can understand, can explain to you how everything works, and then see what your situation is. But I promise you, regardless, in Maryland, for instance, 50,000, with 50,000 in your estate, that is it.
Wow.
By 50,000, I mean the value. So I'm not meaning I'm not talking about 50,000 in the bank. So meaning even a car, your apartment, your things in there, that they add up to $50,000. That estate is going into probate before anybody can do anything with it. Meaning that it goes through that process. They have to verify, okay, is this the person who's supposed to really have this car? They are jewelry. I mean, you ladies, some of your purses are already $5,000 by themselves. So a number of purses, those things. So it's crazy, but I'd love to talk about this and give you some more information in the future.
Thank you.
I'll set up some other time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Willie. We've learned a lot from you, and there's a lot that we need to do. For me, especially, I've learned a lot that I have to put my finances into order more.
Estate. We'll talk about it, but estate planning is very critical. That people will be amazed at the things they will learn when they go through the process. Just a simple call, talking with the guys, with the experts who do these things, and it's very, very affordable with the process that they do, with what they do, the way they do it. So because most people, when they hear estate, they fear. The reason they don't do it is because they think they have to go to an attorney and spend, you know, how much the attorney will charge. That this guys, you know, they use the same attorney. It's prepared by attorneys. It's a digital platform that they use, and they create all the trust documents and everything. You sign it, notarize it, and then you upload it to the cloud, and at a fraction of what attorneys charge, and you know, that it protects you and your loved ones.
I'm going to be one of the
customers. Sir, please, do you have an idea of what a kind of rough estimate of that could be?
Oh, it's less than $2,000.
Or for the
trust. The estate comprehensive. No, it's a comprehensive estate plan. So it's not just a trust. So you have living will, and testament. You have advanced directives. You have special trust, special needs plan. If you have special needs concerns, you have financial power of attorney. You have so it comes with like 10 items in it.
Mm-hmm. And this is done by a legal firm, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So can that be done out of state? Like for me, I'm not in the state of Maryland.
Anywhere in the United States. Anywhere in the United States. This is for the United States. Anywhere in the United States. It's just that they will pull up the forms for Texas.
Okay.
They have forms for every state, you know, and then they do it, and So you have, just as we're talking, you will have a discovery call with one of the experts on a Zoom call, and they go over everything, you answer the question, they do all of this stuff, and Then now when you print the documents and do it, then you take it, you go and notarize it, and you upload it you have a cloud storage so that it's secure, you can access it every time. Because one thing we found out is that even people who've had trusts, who've done it, but they have not updated it. You're supposed to update it every year because your life changes.
Okay.
So maybe you bought a new house, maybe you got a new baby, maybe you divorced. Maybe can you imagine a situation where you had all these things and then you're divorced, and then it's your ex-wife who has to and there are things that really happen.
It becomes complicated.
Yes. So that's why you have to update it every year.
Every year.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much, sir.
Did they help to update it? Did they help to update it?
Yes. It's basically, yes, they'll walk you through. It's because all these are forms that you fill. You just basically take out one name and put another name, notarize it and update it. But they will walk you through, yes.
And that will come with another charge.
We don't have to pay the...
They don't pay. See, unlike going to see an attorney where you pay $500 and I cannot. Once you do that, because that's why it's digital. So the only fee you pay in addition to that is an annual fee of $30 for the storage on the cloud. That's it. So after you pay the fee and your estate plan is set up and all those things, now you can access your forms every time to update. Okay, I sold this car or I sold this house, so this is my new house, and then they change those things. So those are the only other fees. And then
if you don't have changes, then there's no.
It's not, but it's always good to just check, because sometimes you may change your mind about somebody. Because, for instance, okay, you have if you have minor children, you have there's a part for custody. Who would you like your children, if God forbid you were not around, both you and your spouse, or if you're single and you have minor children, who should take care of these children? If you don't specify that, those children will become charges of the state, and they go into the foster care system, which you don't want for your children. So if you want to make sure that, okay, yes, I want Auntie Susan to take care of my children if I'm not around, then you set it up in your estate plan that Auntie Susan is going to be the custodian of my children. Otherwise, you're basically telling the courts to decide who should have custody of your children if you're not around.
Got you.
Yes. So you have all those things are in the document. So, and all you do, you just walk you through, you fill the form. Okay, who would you want to be your custodian of your special needs, the child? Who would you want to do this? Who would you want? And you put those names and you notify them. So you don't just put, you also notify the person, because of course, before you put somebody like that, it's somebody you trust and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I think we have to bring you in one more time, and that time, because I know some of the my group here might be interested, even if they cannot do it themselves. They might be interested in being part of the member and being able to offer that kind of product to somebody else.
Absolutely.
So I want to be able to let them know the benefits, what they can earn if they become the member, and be able to market them to others.
Absolutely. I'll gladly do that. Just let me know when next you want me to come on. And in the meantime, I'll send you some information on this estate planning. It's just like a little questionnaire that you can send to everybody who's on there. Just print it out and answer those questions. Have you done your estate planning, such as the living will and testament? If you go down the list and you realize you're lacking, you just call Basirat, will schedule an interview. I mean, a complimentary interview with one of the experts, and then take it from there.
Okay. Do anybody have any more questions for?
Sir, please, can you confirm again the name of the first program you talked about?
That was the Employee Retention Tax Credit.
Employee Retention Tax Credit.
So
thank you.
The name by itself, the name speaks for itself, because employee retain, so you were able to retain your employees. So government is giving you a tax credit for doing that. During COVID, that is, because it covers 2020 and 2021. Yeah, employee retention tax credit, that's it.
Anybody else have a question for Mr. Willie before? Usually we only stay for an hour, and
so I have a family member, like a wife of one of my friends that is a CPA, and she does a lot of accounting and CPA work for many small businesses. So I just want to find out from her if she's aware of this. If not, I can be able to link her to Sister Basira and you.
Absolutely.
To be able to help her
clients. Yes,
so that's what I want to be sure.
Absolutely.
You can be part of it too. So that's how.
Yeah, we can partner, we can work together, whichever way she chooses. Yeah, because most CPAs are not doing this because the calculation is quite complicated. So there are CPAs who, some of them just pass it on. They say, okay, we'll just have some kind of referral arrangement. You give me X amount of dollars or whatever, and I'll pass all my clients to you, and you guys just take care of them. Because the complication is quite. I had one client, after I'd done their estimate, in the beginning, this was like in November of 2021. And well, the CPA said, oh no, this thing, after he told me, no, it's not, I don't know about this. I have to find out and investigate. And then went behind my back now and then tried to do it by himself. So he finally did it. But then when he came back to them, he said, no, he will never try that again with any other client, because it took him so much time to figure it out. And he didn't even do it right, because he had to submit a second, he had to file for some 2 quarters that he miscalculated and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's a highly, the people, this company that partnered with, they are specialized in various government tax credits, because this is just it's just that the ERTC happened to be the hottest thing, and it's quite easy to calculate, and I mean, as compared to others. There's another tax credit that is called a research and development tax credit. That's a permanent tax credit that businesses can claim anytime, but it's a little more complicated to calculate. And so only companies that have been doing this for a while, they know how to calculate these things. I mean, they are the ones who can handle this very well. So the typical CPA doesn't do that. That's why they have difficulties calculating it. All right. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Willie. And I think most of the questions, maybe they might come up with it later.
Yeah, they can send them to you. They can contact you, and then if you need me, we can do another Zoom. I'm available, to help out. And
yeah, I think
Sir, please, are you a legal practitioner, sir, or CPA?
None of the above. I'm a business broker primarily. So what I do, we buy and sell businesses. And I'm also a business. Yeah. So if you want to buy that restaurant, that gas station, that whatever. So we are like the realtors of business, like realtors sell houses, we sell
business consulting.
Yes, and brokerage. Yes, that's what we do. But I read a lot about this thing. So because everything that I try to do, I read up on it so that I can explain it to my clients and Yes.
All right, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
We really appreciate your presence and all the good information you have provided today.
You're very welcome.
Valuable information.
You're very welcome. My pleasure.
So what we'll do in 2 weeks from now, when we have another one, you can come in at that time. I want people to think about joining the organization. So, and then tell them all the benefits and whatever they can be making for me.
Okay.
You know, they might not qualify for it, but they might know other people that qualify.
Absolutely. All it's about networking.
Yeah. Doing that, they should be able to be rewarded and not just contacting me. They can contact you and they can start making money from there as well.
Okay. I'll send you that information. So I will send the questionnaire on the estate planning so you can share with everybody. I'll send them to you so that way people can look at them and start. Just when you read the questions, it's just a one-page thing, you know. When you read the questions, then you're like, oh my God, you know, then you start realizing it gets you to think about things that you may not be thinking about.
That estate planning is something that all of us do. Honestly, you never know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, I think I missed. What's the name, sir?
Okay.
It's called estate planning document.
No, your name.
My name is Willibrod Ade, or Willie Ade.
Okay.
Sure.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Sister Basira, for putting this together. That was beautiful.
Thank you, God bless. So in 2 weeks from now, when we have the next one, we will invite you again. But at that time, I want you to be prepared, sir, to let us know the benefit of being associated with your.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and then whatever they can make.
Okay, no problem.
A lot of us are consultants, so we're also a licensed financial professional.
Yeah.
And you too, you have the license.
Mm-hmm.
So all of us have we have all those licenses, and so there's no stopping in making money from different angles.
Absolutely. So,
all right, thank you all. Anybody
have
a question before we say goodbye? Okay, if not, thank you. They all say thank you very much, Mr. Willie. We really appreciate your time.
All right, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Willie.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you for explaining that. That was great.
Thank you all.
All right. You have a blessed week, everybody.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.